the odd time I think he does hang on to it a little bit too long, but
now that's good.
Yeah,
that's exactly what they need now.
Let's talk player performances. Curtis Jones. I mean, it's been a good week for Curtis, hasn't it? Became a dad, scored the goal.
No kip.
Ran the show. Yeah. Well, he did have kip because he stepped in the spare room.
The luxuries of being a local player.
Yeah. I slept on the floor next to Arthur's bed the other night. So, yeah.
Do you have a pillow?
I did, yeah.
Well, that's not that bad. To be fair,
but still, it was a bit painful. He ran the show yesterday, didn't he? Do you think we'll see a little bit more of him in a deeper role?
I hope so. I feel like we kind of always get to this point with Curtis Jones where he has a really good couple of performances, and then through some fault, not of his own, he kind of gets a setback. And I think people forget how good he was last year. Really, I mean, he was derailed by the red card at Tottenham. Liverpool had a really strong start to the season, and then even up until when he came back in the team over the new year, and was it Brentford? He got his knee injury, wasn't it? And obviously was out for so long after that. And by the time he comes back, Liverpool are obviously kind of shot to pieces in terms of injuries themselves, and they're obviously playing catch up. So I think people probably aren't too generous when they look back at last season for him, but I think it was a far better season than people give him credit for. And he's obviously had to be patient this year, hasn't he? Liverpool kind of now getting into the groove of playing 3 games a week, and you'd imagine Champions League is obviously back on Wednesday. There's going to be plenty of opportunities for him. He's going to be playing in big games, whether it's in the Premier League or the Champions League. So I think he just offers something different, and I think with McAllister yesterday when he came on, you can see that they are different profiles of players. I think Joe's obviously better at that box-to-box stuff. I mean, he made the block at one end for Palmer, didn't he? And then at the other end, a couple of minutes later, he wins the penalty. I think McAllister's better at kind of ticking play over, isn't he? But, I mean, Jones's confidence on the ball, I mean, there was a quite early on in the first half yesterday, he was kind of looking around for options, and then Cole Palmer came to press. We just dropped the shoulder and kind of moved him on and just created a bit of space out of nothing. And I feel like Liverpool haven't got too many players who can do that, and maybe are brilliant at kind of improvising. So I'm kind of always rooting for Curtis Jones. I think it's always nice to see someone who kind of represents the city. We've seen success that Trent's had for doing that, but I think above all, he's a really good player, but just hasn't had that look so far in his Liverpool career. So there's going to be plenty of games this season, and if he can stay fit and put in performances like yesterday, I mean, why can't he be vital to what Liverpool do this season?
I think this is going to sound a bit of a damning comparison, Doyley, but I mean it in a good way. I think all good teams have players like Curtis Jones. I don't necessarily think he could move to another side and be a really great player, but I think he's a great player for Liverpool. Like a Darren Fletcher for United in their title-winning teams, he would come in, he would always perform and do a job. He knew the players around him. He worked hard. Curtis Jones passes the ball well. I think his biggest issues at Liverpool have been injuries, and injuries at the wrong time, really. The odd time, I think he does hang on to it a little bit too long, but
now that's good.
Yeah,
that's exactly what they need now.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, wasn't it? That the first game that Slot was in charge was that Preston friendly, and he picked him in the number 6 role. And really, since then, I think it's just that was a very early sign of what we can expect. And obviously, he got injured, didn't he, early in the season, missed a few games. But I think his problem he's always had is where's he going to play, in the same way as Harvey Elliott. Now, Harvey Elliott's obviously got it down to one position, which is the number 10. And Curtis is probably down to 2, which is, I know he started number 10 against Palace. Then he dropped down to one of the 2 defensive midfielders. That's where he's going to play from now on. He's not going to be going on the left wing. He's not going to be playing in a kind of midfield role, because there isn't one under this management. So, yeah, Curtis, is he ever going to be somebody who plays all the games? Probably not. But what always counted against him, unfortunately, is the fact Liverpool didn't spend £45 million on him.
Yeah.
And I think that's just one of those things. You've been able to see how he's got to this point, whereas with someone like McAllister, for example, I'm not saying he's as good as McAllister, but you didn't get to... Liverpool fans didn't get to see all his, ups and downs at Brighton and Argentinos Juniors and all that kind of teams. They just got him when they got him. Gravenberch, I think, is a bit different, because I think Liverpool last season did see a little bit of that. But Gravenberch actually spoke after the game, and he said that, as far as he's concerned, he enjoys playing alongside Curtis because you can see a lot of the same qualities in the pair of them. Mm-hmm. So it's the kind of not quite the same player, but they are similar, and McAllister is completely different. So I also thought it was quite interesting when Liverpool were looking to see out the game, they didn't bring on Endo. They could have done, because he did at Palace. He did quite well there, but the season's long, and there'll be games where he's needed, and it could even be Tuesday.
I suppose with Jones as well, he's shown in his last 2 games that he can do both sides of it. He's gone away to Crystal Palace, he's done the rough and tumble. He wasn't as eye-catching as he was on Sunday, and then obviously he's playing a home game against Chelsea. One of the as we said, one of the toughest tests Liverpool faces season, and he's been able to do all the nice things and the things that will get you on the highlight reel, score the goal, win penalties, get further forward, but he's also making blocks as well. So, as Dudley says, I think it's easy to forget that he's kind of had to reinvent himself so many different times. He obviously broke through as a winger, played as a 10, whatever, and he comes through, under Klopp, and he plays on the left side of that midfield. He was almost like the Wijnaldum replacement, wasn't he? He was that kind of selfless Cargy, he had to kind of sacrifice a lot of his skills and talents maybe, and then obviously now he's going to be a bit deeper at number 6, whatnot. So I think even the fact that he's been able to do that and stick around for so long is a testament to how good of a footballer he is.
Absolutely. It was 3 years ago that he was man of the match at Porto in a Champions League game in which Liverpool won 5-1. I think he had something like 3 or 4 assists. Yeah. Like ridiculous.
Yeah. No, he's got great talent. I really hope he can build on it over the next few weeks.